Os dentes tem lá?
Tem.
Mas não tem, a gente said words.
Que baixa aí da Café Rural Café.
Amarelo.
Você está metido ao vivo?
Good evening, everybody. We are from the ruralcafe, a live project. We are now live on Facebook, and I would like to invite Dr. Janeiro to come as well. Roger. Come. Anyone else would like to join us for the Rural Cafe? If anyone would like to come to the stage to have a conversation about how was the rural conference, about the rural conference part, and how it works and what was the highlights. And it's an informal conversation as we have on Facebook and Hangouts other times. We have the Twitter feed on our back that thanks to Dr. Claire that's on there organizing it. So I'm very happy to be here. My name is Mayara Floss. I'm a medical student from South of Brazil. And we can go around and present each one of us. Is that okay? Yeah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Stratton and I'm a rural GP because I work in the UK, Australia and Canada, and currently live and work in Australia.
So I'm Roger Strasser, I'm the Cognitive Survey.
Você quer
My
sabe se são aí?
background is a rural GP and I'm now, and that's in Australia, and now I'm the Dean of the Northern Ontario School of Medicine in Canada.
My name is Peyton. I am medical
Mark,
student from
click na house aí.
That's better.
Na house aí.
Hello everyone, my name is Bianca. I'm a medical student. I'm in my fourth year. I am from the south of Brazil, and it's a pleasure to be here. Once again, really happy to be in this World Conference. Thank you all that are here. It's a really big pleasure for us.
Qual que eu estou recebendo aqui? Se montar o áudio aqui fica melhor porque eu liguei os dois microfones.
I am Karine. I'm from south of Brazil, like Bianca and Mayara. And this is my first time in the cafe.
I'm Bruce Chader. I'm the secretary of the Working Party on Rural Practice, and I'm a doctor in the bush in Australia, about 600 kilometres inland. So it's great to be here with Maya.
This is Jacob Rahman from Bangladesh. I'm a family physician and WONCA Working Party on Rural Practice, newly executive member on board.
I'm John Jones, and I'm Chair of the WONCA Working Party Rural Practice, or Rural WONCA. I feel a certain degree of shame that I've missed all the rural cafes, and I have to come to Brazil to attend.
Fair enough.
And of course, you get coffee on this. It only takes sugar.
But can we have more coffee here, more, because we don't have enough for everybody.
I just would like to make clear that the idea of this cafe is to be really comfortable and formal, and I would like to apologize since now that I'm using my phone, but just for you to know that I'm in contact with students and young doctors and doctors from all around the world, and as I have some messages, I will give their message to you here live during the cafe.
So, everybody that's online at Twitter, please use the hashtag ruralcafe and use the hashtag of Facebook as well. This live transmission is going at my channel, so share it around, and hopefully it will work. Okay. So how it's going? What do you have liked it? Who would like to start?
It's excellent. It's been fantastic to see old friends and meet new, and particularly from the Rural Cafe. I've had the opportunity to meet in person people who I haven't met. I've only met at the cafe. Bianca? Sorry. I was specifically referring to you because it was lovely to meet you in person.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely.
So what's really nice about the Rural Cafe is that you meet people and you talk and get an idea of their understanding of things. And then when you actually meet them in person, you already have the stick. So it's a very quick meeting.
Tá sem áudio aqui, cara. Tá sem áudio. É isso aí.
So it's been a wonderful conference to reconnect.
Não, no TA também, cara. Lá tá baixo.
It's been a great conference. The two sessions that really stand out are the ones that were organised by our students here, by Mayara, Bianca, Karina, and all the other students involved. They were fantastic. We, as older doctors, just took backstage. We became good pupils. So that was just really exciting, and I will go back with those fond memories.
Just the energy of the younger doctors here has been fabulous. It's just lovely to see so much energy, and it's good that you could all meet. A lot of you could meet with Rural Cafe before. In the old days, we only heard each other on telephone, but now you can see each other and have such a good time together, and then get together and really enjoy it from there.
So I'll speak while who's going to come from the minute. Yeah, this has been a fantastic conference, and I endorse what's been said about how wonderful to see the revitalisation of Rural WONCA with the students and young doctors taking the lead. And I agree with John that the best sessions that I've attended at this conference are the ones organised and led by the students and the young doctors. And I think this is a great sign for the future of rural health and rural practice. It's also been wonderful that this is the World WONCA, and that rural health and rural practice has been so prominent as part of the World WONCA conference here in Rio.
Well, I would like to say that my first contacts with WONCA and rural happened in 2014 in Rural WONCA that happened in Rio Grande do Sul, the county where I live. And from there to now, we have constructed so many things, and it's an amazing opportunity. And all actually started to be constructed virtually through internet, online. And just as Sarah said, it's an amazing feeling to meet people in person, live, and see that it is not only a computer image. And I just would like to say that
I'm so happy of being a medical student and having all of this space in a world conference. And I just would like to all medical students that are listening to us right now to know that it's possible. It's possible. We may have our space. We may make the difference. We are here. All of you can be here as well. And as WONCA in 2014 was a really important moment for me. Now maybe your moments, and from now until the next WONCA, you may construct lots of things as well. So I really don't have words to describe my happiness. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, it's really amazing, the Forum Rural Cafe. Everybody around the globe can touch. There are no actions yet needed. I represent Spicy Young Doctors Movement from South Asia. I am currently National Secretary Bangladesh chapter. That's for why it's very pleasant to us to our young doctors also join Rural Cafe. Thank you, Mayra, thanks John and Bruce. And as well as Tessa, and in front of us, you all are brilliantly doing for rural WONCA. I encourage you, being young, we need to come up, students need to come up for family medicine and rural WONCA. Especially, rural people are vulnerable, rural people are underprivileged, they are not to get to doctor to sum up. So they are really need rural WONCA, rural health.
Rural medicine was in Granada. Bianca invited me, and this was my first contact. And I love this. But unfortunately, in my university, I don't have any practice in rural medicine like other universities here in Brazil. So. I think this is a very problem for us, and this space is very nice for discuss and think about this. And Rural Café, I think, is very important for this too. I couldn't participate, but I saw the video after, and I think this is very important.
Sure, that's very good. And what have you been doing during the last 3-4 days? What have you been doing?
Not being asleep. Getting tired, talking a lot. It's been really exciting. And I think one of the things, Mara, that's really changed, and Roger said about revitalization of rural WONCA, and I think one of the major reasons for being able to do that is social media. And it's something that we really weren't involved with before. We've had to learn quickly. Joe, myself, we've learned. I'm delighted. I'm up to over 1,000 followers on Twitter. That's really exciting. But could I just ask you, the students, because you're the future of rural practice, and the young doctors here. If you'll forgive me using the word young doctor again, as I said this afternoon, that makes me an old doctor. But can I ask you what you want from us, what we can do to help keep you interested in rural and start getting you to go into rural practice? What can we do to help?
Would you? Would you like? We all are going to answer.
And they can answer on the Twitter sphere as well.
And people feel free to answer on Twitter as well, on Facebook.
I would like to ask if someone has Facebook, just to check if it's going online, if it's working, if people are accessing it. Is that okay? Just to have a test part. Thanks. Joe, when you have any input, please bring it to us as well. And also, if anyone would like to ask something to us, please.
We have already two answers. But as we were talking this afternoon, I believe that, my opinion, of course, my personal opinion, that the most important points that we have to focus right now are undergraduation curriculum. So students may have experience in medicine and rural practice. I don't know exactly how to do this, but older people may know more experience, and you can count on us, anything that you can do. And the other thing is to continue this kind of tools like Rural Cafe. I think that we have to continue this, and just as I said this afternoon, I have to add again, your presence are really, really important, because experienced GPs, you can motivate us and inspire us and make us believe that it's possible, and that's what we want.
Just to give feedback, hello to Grace, that's watching us on Facebook, and Australia as well, UK as well. So hello everybody, you're very welcome. Please send your questions and your inputs on Twitter or Facebook. And do you have any question, Bianca, from Facebook?
Yes, we do have 2 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to read both of them, and who feels free to answer, please. Question number 1. What is the future of Rural Cafe? Question number 2. Is the cafe open to anyone? I think that you all can answer it, please. Who would like?
Well, it's open for everybody. We are on social media saying that you just need to message us, and at the next cafe you'll come and you'll be very welcome. And please keep in touch. Our page is Rural Cafe at Facebook, and you can use the hashtag Rural Cafe. You can contact by email, whatever you want. We'll be answering you. And the future, well, we are here in the future. All of this is future. It was a huge work to make it work. So thank you for the team that helped us to organizing all of this. You're very good. Thank you so much. And the future is stay connected on Song and get together. And when we have the conference, get a chance to be at presence. And when we are not, keep our heart going and act virtually.
I definitely think that it will be a good idea to have a rural cafe at every conference that the rural WONCA are participating. Yeah. And that what is very nice is that it is very relaxed and casual, the rural cafe, so that if you miss the session, it's very forgiving. You can join a few months even down the road. And also, initially we wondered about how often we should meet, but we found that monthly and having we have irregular times, so it's always on a Saturday, is good, and the irregular times of just trying to address the different time zones around the world. But I think each rural cafe had people that had got up in the middle of the night to attend it, or others stopped their morning activities. So I think it's been a tremendous success, and long may it go on.
Thanks. I would like to invite also Marita, if you could come here to talk about the next conference, and probably if you can have a rural cafe there. She's probably tweeting.
We should probably explain that there's about 30 or so people sitting watching us on the stage, so that's the team that Mayara was referring to just now. Thanks, Mayara.
Well, it's a great opportunity to invite everybody to come along next year. We're privileged at the Australian College of Rural and Remote Medicine to be hosting the World Conference for Rural Health, or Rural WONCA. And we'd love to see as many people come along to beautiful tropical Cairns in Queensland in Australia, 29th of April to the 2nd of May. We've booked in our rural cafe already, and we're planning an awesome program. So everybody, students, everybody who's interested in rural health, we would love to have you along and contribute to what I'm sure is going to be a fantastic program. We've done lots of work on the program and the sessions over the last number of days here in Rio, and so we're really looking forward to having as many people as we can there. Oh,
can I compliment? Yeah, the deadline for submissions is until 30th of November. If you like to try to for a bursary, as we have so many students watching it, you need to submit an abstract. So please go to the website. What's the website?
worldofruralhealth.org. And abstracts are open until the 30th.
Yeah, that's good. And we are trying to organize like fundings, and if you're worried about money part, we'll try to do our best for you to come. And it will be very good, I hope.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yes, sorry.
I wonder where, maybe the month before, New Zealand's got their Rural Health Conference on the 30th of March to April 2nd, so maybe we can do a rural cafe based in New Zealand for March.
Sure, that will be amazing. We can do rural cafes, and actually the plan, is that we have rural cafes in local languages as well, because English is a little bit it would be nice to have in other languages as well, so it will be awesome. Yeah. You have my support. Well, so just John said what he was doing around here, so yeah, so go ahead to the question, Bianca.
Here we have one more question. Question for John and Jones. Please, can you talk about rural proofing?
Oh, wow. Rural proofing is what they call the health impact assessment. Often what happens when policymakers and governments come up with laws and policies, they often don't consider the impact on rural communities. And rural proofing is a tool where when you're beginning to develop policy, when you're beginning to develop new laws, you've got to look at the rural, what impact that's going to have. And it may have a totally different impact on a community that hasn't got resources, hasn't got infrastructure. It's a tool. And we're working with Dave Schmidt in the United States. Sam again couldn't be here with us, but we're looking for developing a toolkit for WONCA to be able to do that.
Thank you. I would like to thank Amber because she's helping me. Amber, you are watching us. Thank you for helping us.
Yeah, I'm coming to Swansea, Amber, in February, so looking forward to seeing you there.
Also, Veronica apologized that she couldn't join the chat, but she gave a lot of support and she's always been very supportive. So thank you, Veronica. When you watch it, you feel you're with us here.
There's a question from David Hogg, if you can get that up.
Yep.
Perhaps I'm going to ask Roger on that one. It's further down, if you scroll down a bit.
Claire? Yep.
A bit further down. Here we are. Yes, here we are. David Hogg from Scotland. Here we are. Rural Cafe. What do we need to do? We need to do all we can to open up more rural placements for students. They're asking. We need to provide. And any suggestions, Roger? How do we go about doing that? I mean, you're the guy who's changed rural medical education beyond recognition. So how do we get that into other parts of the world?
Well, I guess the first step is to have an acceptance of the importance, the value for the medical students of experience in rural practice. That's been well proven in many parts of the world, but there's still many medical schools who are sceptical of that, so you need support from the medical school. But But you also need support from the rural doctors, and many rural doctors, of course, they're busy people, and they tend to underestimate what they have to offer to medical students. So we need to encourage rural practitioners around the world to step up and make themselves available, the clinical experience in their practices available to medical students.
And Lucy Walters, who's been our president in Macram in Australia, she's shown how you can do that, how rural doctors can have students and actually make a more productive, good learning environment that they can really enjoy, that the doctors and the students can enjoy together, and the staff can enjoy too.
I feel like this would be a good topic for a rural cafe. It's Lucy and some other experienced rural practitioners talking with anyone who joins, rural doctors and students and young doctors, about how to organise the rural practice setting to make it a positive experience for everyone involved, and especially the patients.
Yeah, I think in New Zealand, one of the issues that a lot of people say is that there's not the space to have an extra student in practice. And especially for undergraduate rural placements, what we're finding is that a student doesn't need to be in the practice physically to have a great rural experience. They can be in the community doing things and still getting a valuable rural experience. So whether or not that's with the local pharmacist, one of the local community groups, and only potentially spending 1 or 2 sessions a week actually with the GP. And for younger undergraduate students, they don't need to necessarily be having their own room to consult from. They can actually work with the doctor and not necessarily see their own patients, although there is value in that as well. But I think it's been using a bit of initiative and thinking outside the box and making the experience positive by involving other things, not just sitting and watching a GP take a consult and maybe falling asleep in the corner, but instead being out there and doing things. So, yeah.
Also, we are planning to launch not soon, but we are at the project of the Rural Advisor. So this hopefully will get students and residents and young doctors more close to each other to experience, to have rural experiences, even if you don't have it here in your university, you can find a way to have it in other ways. So the Rural Advisor, it will come at some point. The Brazilian society say that it will support in creating the app and creating the website and platform. So we are very excited and we are working hard for this work.
Can I just answer that? One of the problems that I have is a lot of my students ask if I can help them find somewhere abroad to go on elective, to get some experience. And that's often the hardest thing to find. You guys speak to a lot of colleagues and they say, well, we've got so many students coming out to us from our own country, and it's a shame that we're losing the opportunity for students to spend time in rural practice. And what happens is they go on commercial exchanges where they pay a lot of money for, and they don't get the value and the experience. I mean, Roger, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you again. I mean, any thoughts on that?
The next Café will be about it.
So you're talking about students wanting to do rural experience in other countries now? Yes. Well, I think it works best when there's a formal collaboration between the medical schools, so it's not a sort of unorganised and sometimes set up as a commercial exercise, but actually one that's about learning exchange and opportunity for students from one part of the world to have rural practice experience in another part of the world. And so they're swapping, not just all going from one country to another country.
We have 2 more questions. The first one, I think it's a hard one, Mayara. How many people can be on video at one time?
In max 10. But we manage always with social media, and because of the Google Hangouts is moving for YouTube Live, is making things much more hard for us. So actually we are moving the platform, so next one it will be very experimental, but I hope it will work. And in thesis is next that 10, but we always have the input on Facebook and Twitter.
Exactly. We are going to see how it's going to happen now, but question number 4. What is a rural generalist? Is this the future of rural health?
A rural generalist is probably what we call a full scope general practitioner. So it's someone who not only can work in an office, but can work in a hospital if there's a hospital, can work in an emergency department if there's an emergency department, can do some of the public health as well. I've found in my little town over time that it's been very interesting to see how you can influence behaviour. When low alcohol beer first came to Theodore, I asked for it to come and I went down and bought some. And then I didn't buy any more for a while. I'm not a big beer drinker. But one of my patients came in and said, I've got problems with my alcohol. And I said, well, try the low alcohol beer. And he said, the pub is recommending it. And that was because they had to sell all the extra beer that they'd ordered in that was low alcohol. So you can actually have quite an influence on the community. You can actually see that influence. So it's all those aspects. It's being able to work in a team, and it's being able to provide the full range of services, but also hopefully have an extra service that you can provide, whether that's procedural, anaesthetics or obstetrics, or whether it's just something like it could be mental health, it could be paediatrics. So there's all sorts of options of extended skills, but it's being the full rural doctor and being able to do those things. And that's what we hope to see all of you trained as. Give you all the chance to do those things, and then you can really have a fulfilling and interesting career in rural areas.
Well, I've got a few things on my mind to say, but one was that's the first time, Bruce, I've heard you recommend going shopping to solve the problem.
Yes.
I was going to respond to how do you create more rural placements. In Australia, we're going to have quite a significant issue because they're expanding the number of not just medical but allied health rural placements to way beyond 40,000. They haven't actually given a definite number, but it's doubling what we've already got. So this is a very real issue for us to discuss. And there are lots of different strategies, and it would be good, I would certainly endorse having a rural cafe on this topic.
Can I just make the point that students hunt best in packs? That you're better to have 2 students often in a site than 1 student by themselves. And our experience has been that often when you get 2 students, it's actually, they can have a better experience because they can talk, they can compare, they can go together to the community groups and things like that. So often there's much more capacity there than people realise. And we've certainly found in our little practice that having 2 students is much better than having 1.
Absolutely, and it gives them some support, particularly when they're going into a rural area on their own, but also they can bounce ideas and questions off each other and get to the kind of real essence of the issue, and then come to you. But also I tend to say and try to persuade our doctors to take students by just telling them they're going to be a better doctor when they have a student. Because when they talk more in front of the patient, maybe to the student, the patient also learns. And so it's greater than the power of one.
Professor Andrea just sent a question here. Andrea, put your hands up. Yeah, okay. You just sent a question on Twitter. With what basic competence we think that's good for a model, a role model of a rural GP? So, What is the competencies that we would like to have in skills? Yeah, skills. Yeah, what skills it would be that good in a role model of a rural GP?
Human.
I think being able to communicate, being able to listen, having empathy, and having a knowledge of the families you can deal with, having a knowledge of what your patients do, and that's often having knowledge of agriculture. So that's the first thing. You'd expect the competencies are general practice competencies, being a specialist in journalism. I think also you're looking at whatever is needed in that community. If you've got a hospital, then you need the competencies to manage the hospital. If you're doing obstetrics, you've got to have the competencies of at least managing non-interventionist obstetrics. And if there isn't obstetric service, then you're going to have to go further. So I think it depends on the context of where you are, but it's also the context of the health service and how the health service works. Roger can say something, and Bruce, I'm sure can say something else.
Yeah, so in some ways, repeating things that John has mentioned. I mean, the first is a rural practitioner really focuses his or her service responding to the health needs of the community that they have the privilege to serve. As a general statement, when you compare rural practitioners to their metropolitan counterparts, they are extended generalists. So the generalist theme that John and Bruce have mentioned. And when compared to their metropolitan counterparts, they provide a wider range of services and carry a higher level of clinical responsibility in relative professional isolation. And I think the key characteristics of being a rural practitioner, which leads to then adaptability over time. The needs of the community change, and so being ready and able to upskill and to ensure that the services that you're providing as a rural practitioner are those that really address the health needs of the community.
I'd recommend people go to the ACRM primary curriculum, which actually describes the full range of services that the college endorses. And I think that's the important thing, is to have the support of your senior colleagues in learning these skills. The other thing I'd send people to would be the Society of Rural Physicians of Canada has a manual or a textbook of rural and remote medicine. And that's the experience of their colleagues teaching them those things. And that's one of the unique things I think about the Society of Rural Physicians of Canada, is that their colleagues often teach them those skills in the conferences that they have and things like that, not just asking a specialist to teach them.
I think one of the things that we've been talking about at this conference, however, is actually that when you're a rural GP, you are a leader in your community, whether you like it or not. And we've had a number of leadership workshops here, which have been great. Some exploring what the issues have been for others, some more developmental. And so I think that's another thing we need to keep picking up.
So I have one more competency which I think is a critical one. I'm just remembering I've just submitted to a journal a paper which is essentially a series of quotations from our medical students and graduates about generalism. And one of the quotes from the graduating student is that one of the key competencies of a rural generalist is knowing limitations, knowing when the time is to transfer the patient or to seek assistance from elsewhere.
Can we go first, Joe?
Yeah, and there's another Cinderella area that often we don't think about, and that's competency in public health.
Yes.
You know, I remember you, Roger, telling me many years ago we developed the Eureka Charter on rural practice. You said, well, actually, rural physicians also are public health physicians. And that's that's really important. And public health is certainly in the UK, and I hear in other countries it's the Cinderella topic. The students don't like doing it very much. It's done it's often not done very imaginatively, and so they say, oh, I don't like public health, but you have to be a public health physician.
Just before we go to the next question, and we have some input from Facebook as well, I just would like to comment that I have my inspirational elective at Ireland with a rural GP, and I went to a very faraway island where people just speak Gaelic, and I was like, oh my God, where I am, where am I? So, but Dr. Edward Harty, who received me, was so welcoming, and he brought me to his house, and he showed the things, and he showed the place, and brought me to the health clinic, and said, look, this is my team. And the way that we receive these students is very important as well, because when we are rural, we are isolated, we are far from our homes, usually, and the way that we are being received, the things that the feeling at home makes we like it, and if at some point I will receive some student, I will do the same. So it's a tip for who would like to receive students to be very welcoming. And Caio asked a while ago if you don't have a rural, if he asked about if I don't have a rural placement at my university, if I could have in another. Yes, you could. You can contact all of the doctors that are here. We have resident doctors that work there in here as well at the conference. You can email us, you can tweet to us, and please, you can have your placement. We will help you until we don't have the rural advisor, we manage on the group. So don't miss the opportunity just because you don't have the contact.
I'm just wondering if we can get a comment from the developing world, from Bangladesh, about rural medicine students.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, Bangladesh is a developing country. We, like I use in my presentation, we have more than 80% people lived in rural areas, but our more than 80% doctors lived in urban areas. We have plenty of options, we have infrastructure, we have 18,000 community clinics by government, but still we need to improve our actually delivery system as well as. And one thing is important, our young students are not coming up for family medicine. If God chose them, they chose cardiology, they chose neurology, and even in surgery or otherwise. They have not first chose the family medicine. So that's for we are, my opinion from developing country and on behalf of young doctors, you should please make it's a specialty. It's a broad-based specialty. General practice or family medicine is not an honorable subject. It's an honorable thing. You are so close to community. So it's a broad-based specialty at first student, and then we make arrangement for student that should come and he feel comfortable. Because if rural placement is well, rural setup is well, when he deliver as a doctor, feel comfortable, then more people definitely come. We are shortage of family medicine doctor, but we are the first generation doctor actually. We goes to another degree, then again we start family medicine. So very interesting things. I missed something.
Claire, you will survive. Thank you so much for your work. For Claire, that's doing the PhD. Yeah. So we have Dr. Shankar, sorry, from Sri Lanka, that just popped up on stage. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This is the first time I'm in the cafe.
Very welcome.
Yeah, and it is like in village is like coffee shop. You know, coffee shops. It is called in Sinhalese kopi garden, right? It's just like this. Okay, and actually talking about it was regarding the education in Sri Lanka as well. We have actually just community-based medical learning, where students are inspired by posting them to like 2 weeks for a rural tour to a rural area, a rural posting, and but still because of the family medicine is not so developed in our country, like it is not as secure at all, it is not a hi-fi sort of subject. Still people are reluctant to choose this as their specialized area. So there's a problem in that again, but probably in coming few years we have hopes, like there would be more sort of it's called MD programs are coming, standalone MD programs are coming, where actually at the moment we have to wait for 5 years to do the diploma in family medicine, which leads to MD, the postgraduate. So probably next year we are going to have a standalone MD, where more people will be interested in family medicine and they will come.
Very good. Just Kathleen, you have a comment?
Oh, I was just reading the tweet feed coming through before, and someone from the audience asked if we could ask everyone else out there if they had any questions. And I wasn't sure we could pass over the mic if anyone in the crowd has a question to ask or something to talk about in the Rural Cafe.
I think we need it.
Joe is the guy that will go around. He was.
Joe's already there, John, don't worry.
Well, as people.
I think we need a spouse's view.
Well,
I see one in the front row.
Is there a space?
Yeah, I think we need a spouse's view.
Okay, just to say that we are like just a minute, just a second. We have just more 15 minutes. So any input on Twitter and Facebook and all the questions now together. So after we will comment on all the questions together, and we need to finish because the guys need to go to home as well. But it's been lovely. So questions?
Oh, very briefly. I just want to commend this group because rural family physicians are unsung heroes of family medicine. And what I'm struck by, and I think this needs to be emphasized, and you all deserve huge accolades, because what I'm witnessing is something which I would hope that can be replicated, which is how can the young doctors movement and the old doctors movement link together in ways that are unseen. What you're demonstrating needs to be scaled up. So I commend you. And I know many of you from over the years, and I don't know much about it, but I just think you deserve so much praise. So I want to say congratulations.
Any other question? I think I saw. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mimi from Ukiah, California. So in my community, the rural superstars like you are many of them in their 60s, and when I talk to them about this kind of thing, they say, I can't tweet, I don't do Facebook, I don't know any of this, but we want them to, right? So can you suggest some ways to bring people into this space yeah.
Okay.
Could I ask also you, Mimi, to tell us about Rural Rock?
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. In my community, which is in Northern California, a very rural part of California, USA, we have an annual fundraiser for our teaching program called Rural Health Rocks. And we had our first one last year and raised $120,000 for our teaching program, which was really incredible. And we're having our next one on April 29th, which is why I can't come to the conference in Australia, but we're hoping that we'll be able to connect this way. I'm hoping. And that maybe I can bring along my colleagues who feel that this is too much. technology for them, but I think if you see it, then you can see, oh, it's not that hard.
Okay. Do we have any other question from? Yeah.
Very quick comment. 2 years ago, I was not using social media. I went to a workshop in Lisbon where there were junior doctors presenting this. All the old doctors were at the back of the room saying, I can't deal with this. I can't. I'm not going to do Facebook. I'm not going to do Twitter. I'm not going to do LinkedIn. What we need is the young doctors to mentor the senior doctors. That's what we're, and I propose this. So I would suggest you create a network where you have junior doctors mentoring senior doctors.
Yeah, also, thank you so much for your comment. And, okay, we have more 2 questions from Facebook. Do we have any other question from Twitter? I'm a little bit, I missed something on Twitter. Claire, if you can highlight it, it would be good. So then we comment everything together. So, Bianca?
Before the questions, I'd like to say that this is a great idea. We may maybe take some workshops, something to put on YouTube, and we can send the link, and maybe it's easier to people do a workshop online. So actually it was 2 questions, and in these few seconds we have more 2 questions. So I don't know if we are going to be able to answer all of them, but I'm going to read for you, and you feel free to answer the one you can. The first one, would students be more interested in rural GP if research opportunities were advertised? Another one, is the cafe for English speakers only? This is a good question, and about our future, maybe having local rural cafes. The other one, how can we use digital health to help rural people? And I think that it's all about what we were just talking about. And 2 more. Is it possible to arrange elective placements in other universities or countries? I think we have already answered this one that we were talking about. And last one from Facebook, can a rural MD do placements in other countries as a student would?
We have more one. Would it help to raise the profile of rural research opportunities to students? Well, if it's, yeah, that's the same. Okay, so I just would like to comment about all doctors and so on. We had, I think it was a very nice workshop this week here on Rio, where people from different ages, from different backgrounds say, I use radio, I use television, how this influenced my life, and then I use Facebook and Ledger, and then we get all the social media that we could find or the people bring on the workshop, and then we try to find a way to solve a case from someone at rural. So that was very good, and I think we could replicate it. And sometimes we need to just maybe we can do like more rural cafes with real people, with Twitter stream, so people can, maybe some old GP can be interested by being here, and that he will be receiving a little bit more information at Twitter, so that will be nice. And Rural Café is not just about English speakers. We can organize Portuguese ones, Spanish ones. We have to, that's fine, and everybody have our support. And we just email us, and we will help you to set up everything. Well, regarding the doctors that would like to experience rural, and even students that would like to experience rural, again, we are creating the Rural Advisor, and we are trying to make people more connected. But if it's an urgent case that you need to experience rural in the next few days or months, please contact us. We have a bunch of rural GPs here that will be very happy to receive you.
Yes, I'd just like to make a comment that's sort of been a recurring theme, and earlier on John talked about how we've become more connected with the use of social media, etc. At the conference in Cairns, there will be the launch of the Witness Seminar in the History of Rural Medicine, and I encourage you to come to Cairns just for that. So I just in the last few days I've been reading through this report, which will be launched, as I said, in Cairns, and there were a number of the speakers, and some of them are here, were talking about isolation, and it was actually Richard Hayes from Australia, currently from Australia, he's also been from England, who commented that actually when he was in metropolitan Sydney, he found the GPs there were more isolated from each other than the GPs in rural practice. That in fact, going back from the beginning of whatever means of communication you have, there was one story in Scotland, this was actually the grandfather of the GP who was speaking, saying that his grandfather had organised to transfer a patient for a caesarean section, which meant stopping the train and having the labouring patient taken by train to Glasgow. That all happened in less than 4 hours. And these days with helicopters and all the fancy communications, it still takes actually probably more than 4 hours. So I think we need to put that into perspective, that innovation and making connections with the telephone or whatever means of communication is available is a feature of rural practice. I think you can say to your older colleagues that YouTube is just like watching television, and can draw them in, and then they want to join in, so they'll work out how they can participate. It is quite seductive, but it's very effective, and it's very important for us to be connected amongst ourselves. One of the common themes that I've found in work connecting different countries is that people in rural areas, including but not only the rural practitioners, find they have more in common with each other, that's in rural areas in other countries, than they have with the people in the cities in their own country. And so this connecting across rural areas and between countries is something I think that's very important for the future of rural health and rural practice.
Well, as we have loads of time here talking, I will ask you each one of us do a closing. So if you would like to say anything else, just say it now and say the closing part, and that's okay. Everybody say a little bit and we will finish the Rural Cafe.
Today when Bianca invited me for participating, I asked, but I don't know if my English is enough for this. I'm afraid about this. So students, if you want to participate, you can try, because this is a conversation. I think, okay, I will try, and I...
This is it.
So if you can try too, and Bianca and Mayara and I speak in Portuguese, so sometimes I saw videos and they spoke in Portuguese and help each other, so it's a conversation you can try too.
So final comments for Joe, is that okay? Bruce?
Our Rural Doctors Association in Australia has a dinner every year, and the favourite song is No Students, No Future. And that's what this is all about. If we don't have you involved in the future, then rural medicine doesn't have a future, rural patients don't have a future. So it's just so wonderful for our communities that we live in that there's going to be someone who will take an interest in them and help us and them in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the other interesting things about using social media and opportunities like this is that what people call communities of interest. Medical schools now have got such huge intakes. Our son was in a medical school in King's in London where the intake I think was 470. and there are similar sizes. In Bucharest, the intake per year is 800. You know, it's impossible really to have any pastoral care when you have those numbers. So actually being able to spend time with other medical students online, accessing experts, world experts like Roger online, you know, that's an incredible opportunity for students, and it makes them feel important, and it actually kind of gives an idea of the future.
Bianca, maybe your final comments?
Okay. Thank you, Bruce, for these comments. That's exactly what John said. I really believe that this is an amazing space for all of us, medical students, young doctors, and also GPs, to feel important, to be important, to understand that we are important. And I just would like to add that this is a special cafe, that we are all together, but in the other ones, we are each one at your house or home, so you can be comfortable with your cup of coffee. If you prefer some chimarrão, our cultural typical drink in south of Brazil, you can feel free. It's okay. You can be using your pajamas if you want. It's just to be comfortable, to share experiences, and through Café and all of this, I have met these amazing GPs, and I am so grateful of this opportunity, and so I invite everyone to join us. If you want to have an idea, you can look for our previous cafes on YouTube. Take a look, watch one and another. If you cannot go to one, but you can join us in another one, it's okay. Always pay attention on the time, because sometimes we have some different times from different countries. Time zones, thank you. And that's it. I really want to thank you all for being with us. People here at the conference, I suppose that you must be tired. Thank you for joining us as well. And thank you for everyone that is online, and in the other cafes we also have Twitter and Facebook. So if you don't have a good internet connection, this is important to say, if you don't have a good internet connection for join us at the video, you can join us at Twitter and Facebook, that you don't have to have
audio just as well, we have done some, so that's okay.
Yeah, and that's it. Thank you all.
Kathleen? That's okay. That's okay. Would you like to say anything to close? That's okay. Okay. Roger?
I have a feeling I've said enough, but I just picking up on the theme that Bruce introduced, Bianca followed up. A few years ago, I was at a medical education conference, the one in Europe, and I stood up and I said that medical students often underestimate the power that you have to actually change the medical schools that you're in. And that's true in my experience. It just happened that the editor of The Lancet was there in that room, and so the next thing I knew, he was quoting me in an editorial in The Lancet. So the next thing I knew after that was my own medical students were quoting this back to me. So don't underestimate the power that you have to change your medical schools.
Sarah?
Sometimes it takes a little while to get used to the Rural Cafe, and I always think just when we have to finish, everyone's really coming towards with a lot of information. So yeah, we'll have to try and manage that.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. It was a great idea. Well done.
Yeah.
As representatives of developing countries as well as the young doctors movements like Spice Route, what I have to tell to the youngsters is don't afraid of going to rural. You can see how our seniors are giving opportunity to us. Just see. Just go in there and give me the seat. And actually, it's if you want to do something new, it's the only way is you have to go to rural, right? And then you can do something new. It's not in the urban areas. We are just following what the others are doing. If I was in a urban hospital, I would be just a medical officer. Right? Here, I lead a hospital there. Right? And I do so many new things, and patients are like, they appreciate it very much. So don't be afraid. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity joining the cafe. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
Feeling like celebrity due to Rural Cafe. I never ever enjoyed like being a rural practitioner. Would encouraged by this, that they should come up and give some message to the society, give some message to junior and senior. So I think a student as well as senior, it's a force, it's a movement to global health. Thank you very much.
It's been a great night, an interesting discussion. I've really enjoyed it. I'll look forward to the next one. Obviously look forward to seeing everybody that's here and online in Cairns if we can next year. We didn't mention that Mayara has kindly agreed to be a keynote and no doubt will be able to report on all the cafes and the work that she's doing in this space at that time. So we're really looking forward to having you in Australia. Thank you.
So we are coming to the end, and thank you so much. I would like to thank you, Claire. Thank you, Claire. I hope you are alive with the mosquitoes. I would like to thank Amber that's working hard at her home, and also Veronica that wasn't here. I would thank all the team that's working here with us, the sound guys, the image guys. You're doing an awesome work. Thank you so much. And muito obrigada ao time de áudio, muito obrigada ao pessoal que está cuidando da nossa imagem. Foi muito bom esse café, vocês foram maravilhosos. Muito obrigada por ajudar a organizar isso tudo. And thank you so much for joining the Rural Cafe online as well. And we'll keep in touch. And John will have to say the final words, and we are going offline.
I need a stretch. I suppose you can imagine what I'm going to say, really. Just a special thanks to these wonderful students who've done this. I first met Mayara and Bianca in Gramado and then in Dubrovnik. I never thought that we would be doing this. I never thought that things would change so quickly. So I think, can we finish by giving them a round of applause and let them stand up? Quickly, come on, you stand up too. They're our future and they've been fantastic and they deserve your applause. Thank you very much.